How's it, peoples? Let's talk about Nas's album, King's Disease. Alright, look, I know it was released in August, so yeah, I'm late, but I wanted to talk about it anyways. It's not gonna become a habit though. Anyways, Nas is one of my favorite all time rappers. I was very apprehensive, especially because his 2018 album Nasir was a bit lackluster. So, after another one of Kanye's many tweet storms, and he had his Wyoming Sessions rollout, I was initially really excited at having another Nas album after that huge 6 year gap. On top of that, it was also produced by one of my favorite producers, Kanye himself. I fell in love with Pusha T's Daytona, and I don't like naming albums classics too soon, but after 2 years, I think Daytona is already a classic. I love that album. Good lord. But when Nasir came, uh, I won't lie, it was quite a letdown. It didn't feel like a Nas album. It felt like a Nas Kanye album, like a collab album. And normally that's not a bad thing, but it just didn't feel right. I don't know. It just didn't work out. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't enjoy most of the album. I think out of 7 tracks, I only liked 3 of the songs. And 3 out of 7 is just not good. I felt there must have been more that had to be said, as opposed to Daytona, which, as Pusha T put it, all killer and no filler. That's what that was. And the Nasir album just didn't do that, you know? But anyways, we moved on, and I enjoyed the 3 songs that I did, and that was alright. And then he dropped the Lost Tapes too, and he didn't need to.
Are they really lost if I wasn't even looking for them?
He- Look, Nas, I love you, but geez, you didn't need that. Lost Tapes 1 was good, and this one did not do it for me. Anyways, fast forward to King's Disease, and let me tell you, Nas, Nasir, Nasty Nas, the Ghetto Monk, Godson, Nas Escobar, the Street's Disciple, the Ghetto Othello. Listen, oh my gosh, this is what I've been waiting for. This is what I wanted, bro. This is what I needed. This is the real follow up since Life is Good back in, I don't know, 2013, 2012. Listen, I'm happy, alright? I mean, first of all, it was 12 tracks, and normally I don't want an album to go more than 16 tracks. That's between 10 and 16 is my sweet spot for an album. I don't want a 20-track album, but I also don't want a 7-track album unless it's really, really good. And this was good. Straight up Hit Boy production, top to bottom, with bits of co-production here and there. Starting with the title track, King's Disease. It lays down the groundwork with the beautiful soul sample and the opening lines. Bro, the opening lines. When he said, I made the fade famous, the chain famous, QB on my chest, match the stainless, amazing grace, I'm gracefully aging without masonry, I made more paper to play with. Oh my lord. Oh, dude. Nas talks about being kingly, but not being over righteous and being a pretender, It's about telling the truth and avoiding fakeness. That immediately slides into Blue Benz, the next song, which by the name you can already guess it's about luxury and glamour, And Nas sounds comfortable, He mostly juxtaposes the rich lifestyle he's come to know and the harsh circumstances that he grew up in. And this one sounded nice. This was good. This was already good. Back to back. That was great. 2 tracks already.
Car 85. And this is about a cab service that people used for, let's say, unsavory things. Things are not so necessarily legal.
And Nas was really floating on this one with Charlie Wilson's vocals all nice and laid back, just reminiscing. This just felt easygoing, you know? Thereafter, Ultra Black came in. And when this was first released, this created quite a bit of a buzz with the Doja Cat line, where he said, "We going ultra black, unapologetically black, the opposite of Doja Cat, Michael Blackson black." Now, listen, of course I didn't need that line because, look, I think maybe Doja Cat has some internal struggles about being a mixed baby, you know? And I'm not gonna pretend like I can't criticize things when they are put in public though. And her comments, let's say, were put in public. And look, not all commentary and even criticism is hate. Nas is talking about black culture, black beauty, and might have felt it necessary to include that Doja Cat line. And adding Michael Blackson black sort of juxtaposes the two people. Doja Cat seemingly not so proud of her black half, while Michael Blackson not only makes jokes about his dark complexion but also his African heritage and proudly speaks about it. The song itself is pretty good and Hit Boy just does his thing. The song is very positive and feel good, you know? And Nas ends off his second verse with, "This is for New York and all the map. No matter your race, to me you're all a black." And that kind of course he first represents Queens, New York, as always, to the fullest. But he goes further and he sends a shout out to the whole world and states that we're all the same deep down and we all come from Africa maybe. Maybe that's just the way I'm seeing it, but it still hits. As he said, Hit Boy on the track, this shit's supposed to slap. Oh, and it did. Oh. Now 27 Summers, this one is a short one with more of a trap beat. And normally, if I'm honest, I'm not a big fan of trap, but this one I didn't mind. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate this one. I like listening to this one. Even now I still do. I believe the title references the fact that it's been about 27 years since he began rapping, or at least since the debut album Illmatic was released. The way Nas enters the song is just it's just really funny. Just starts with "bitch." Look, possibly no relevance, but I feel like Nas is just feeling himself and he's just coming in. He's like, "Hey, no, I'm here." Nas speaks about how many people where he's from don't imagine themselves reaching 27 summers, many dying or ending up in prison before then. And he also references the 27 Club, where many people who are famous die at the age of 27. And there is a whole conspiracy about that, which we won't even get into in this video. Nas briefly reflects on his own life and his career. It's a bit of an eerie sounding beat, a little bit ominous and dark, but still enjoyable. Now honestly, at first I wasn't a big fan of the following track, "Replace Me," featuring Don Toliver and Big Sean. Honestly, I wasn't vibing to it, but it warmed up on me on the second listen, you know. Nas obviously did well, speaking of those he's loved and lost, and that's what the song is really about. Nas ends his verse with actually a really great line where he says, "Only thing worse than being alone is wishing you were." Oh my gosh, that resonates. Jeez, man, that was good, and that's honestly one of the best lines maybe in the whole album. Beat's nice. Don Toliver did his thing, but Big Sean, look, Big Sean, I don't even know how to go about this one. Look, Big Sean is a great rapper. He's just got a few corny lines here. I mean, "I'm not your ex, I'm your ecstasy." We get the meaning, but it's not good, you know? It's just not good. He could have done a lot better. Maybe he could have said, "I'm more than your ex, I'm your ecstasy." Because you are talking about your ex, so what do you mean I'm not your ex? Another one which just, I don't know, just didn't really make much sense is I bought you diamonds even though I got a heart of gold. What? Because you got a heart of gold, you can't buy that? You could have switched it and said, I bought you diamonds because I've got a heart of gold. You know, that would look at me giving Big Sean tips on how to rap. Oh my gosh. Hey, listen, somebody get Big Sean on the line. I got some tips. That would have made more sense. But otherwise, I like the rest of his verse. Great. With Nas saying, I got that New York walk. And Sean responded with, I got that Detroit soul. You know. Honestly, that was nice. They flowed very nicely on this one. As soon as the next song, Till the War is Won, began, I instantly recognized the song. Oh my gosh. It samples a song composed by Nicholas Vital for a movie called If Beale Street Could Talk, which follows a black couple in the 1970s when the man is arrested for a crime he didn't commit. The song is called Agape, which means love, which could also read as agape, as my mouth was when I was listening to it, because I absolutely love that movie score. It was beautiful. And Nas speaks about the strength of black mothers and black women generally, and how we need them, and why we need to love them and take care of them. Honestly, I didn't enjoy Lil Durk too much. I didn't hate him here, I really did, but I just, the voice just, look, I'm not a big fan of the way the autotune sounds here. Maybe that's my issue. Maybe autotune is my problem. Who knows? But I love what he spoke about. He really did his thing in terms of subject matter and what he was talking about. Hit Boy's production on this one kept me happy, especially the sample. It was a well chosen because it ties in with the movie the sample is from, where we see many strong black women in that movie. Along with that, Nas is speaking about toxic behavior in relationships. After being accused of domestic abuse by his ex-wife Khalees, I would have expected Nas to be more detailed than he was regarding that. He simply kind of breezed over it saying, nah, it wasn't me, and continued. I would have liked a little bit more in-depth explanation or something. Overall, this connected well. All Bad is the next one on the album, featuring Mr. Anderson .Paak himself. Yes, love! This is another one that speaks on lost love, and Anderson .Paak just makes everything better. If I'm honest, it is a good song, it really is, but I didn't find myself going back to it that often, but it was still solid and was a great duo, and I didn't expect this one. Honestly, Anderson .Paak doesn't really miss that often. Usually, I would have always gone back to an Anderson song or feature, and this one was just one of the ones that I just didn't really go back to, but it was still solid. Then we have the definition. Basically, Nas is kind of defining what is this king's disease that he's named his album after. It's also known as rich man's disease. When you become a public figure, you're expected to say certain things and do certain things, and that could be the disease that he's talking about. But I think he's also talking about excess, overeating, and this is him saying to keep a focus on one's wealth but also one's health, rather than just only going for the riches. Nas also goes after politicians regarding freedom, as well as what he calls super predators and so on. And it did define what this king's disease is all about. Then at number 10, we have Full Circle. Oh yes, this one just sounds straight out of the 90s. Not just because Nas decided to bring back the old group The Firm, but also production wise, Hit Boy is really talented. It just gives me that feel, you know? If you're a fan of Nas's early work, you're probably going to like this one, which is appropriately named Full Circle. Nas, Komega, Foxy Bound all have great verses on this one. They delivered very well. But AZ, I'm willing to say that he has the best verse of this track. Lord have mercy. He killed it. He dominated this one. AZ is just, whenever he's with Nas, I just feel like he gets even better. Phenomenal verse from him. Just the way he simply comes into it in his rhyme scheme and flow. He said, Dialogue superb, flyers cars on the curb, word when I evolved, the higher God emerged, reserved. Oh Lord, stop. Just stop. And that's just him opening his verse. He killed it easily. And I did not expect to hear Dr. Dre's voice. Dr. Dre comes in the outro and he didn't do too much. He's just doing the outro, of course, but he also dropped some nice lines that I really liked. Just not too much. He didn't do too much. He just said, king shit, firm biz. Mastered this, no alternative. Classic shit, that's affirmative. Got me out here on my first degree murder shit. Stretch marks from this art, gave birth to this. And I stand by every word of this. Malcolm X with a check, close curtains, bitch. Oh, just this whole track, full circle. It's my favorite track on the album. It really is. Even Foxy Brown had a great verse. Honestly, Foxy Brown saying Black Sheba, Philip Klein on a sneaker, low in a two-seater, bitch, I speaks ether. Oh my lord, I love this one. I really love this one. I can't stop with. This is still the one that's on heavy rotation. This is a great reunion. It's phenomenal. I really don't have much else to say about this one. There's just some great lines, but I don't want to just fill this up with great lines because we still have more to go through. Then we have 10 points. And honestly, I felt I was going to hate this production over here because it just, like, I could have made it. That's what I was thinking. I was listening to this and I was like, oh gosh, what the hell? Like, Hit Boy just gave me this huge high, especially with Full Circle, and now we're here at this lazy point. I was disappointed, and that was just the first 10 seconds. Once we got to 15 seconds, we came in. Oh yes, when that bass came in, it's a complete 180. I just loved it. And then the horns came in. Oh lord. Announcing the king coming in. Listen, Nas speaks about king's behavior and what kings should do, such as creating jobs, having lawyers when you reading contracts. And he had an interesting line. He said, stop hanging on to childhood trauma. It defeats us. And I gotta say, it's true. I mean, whatever you do to get rid of that childhood trauma, or rather not get rid of it, but to deal with it, whether you go into therapy or whatever different ways of therapy you do, what he's saying is work through it because that's what's defeating us. And I agree, because it might be that we ourselves are holding us back and not necessarily the world around us. And that hit well. I ended up really liking this production over here. I thought Hit Boy was going to disappoint me. Then we have The Cure, and this one ends the album off with Reflection. And Nas details that he's not the same person who dropped Illmatic. He's grown, he's matured, as he should have, he needed to. And he drops a lot of commentary and advice, but the quotables are present. Where he said, cold game, don't get exposed, stories get told, you glamorize the game, it ain't a glorious road, rest in peace Kobe and Nip, that's off the rip, king shit, if it ain't about fam, it don't mean shit. And another part where he says, corner executive born in ghetto hell, where metal yell, especially over necklaces, life lessons is karma, whatever you dish out come back as blessings or to haunt you. Could miss your kids and hit your grandkids for your dishonor. Man, that was good. Oh, and the production on this one, I swear Hit Boy is just flexing right now. He's oh gosh, first it's this high-pitched sound when he begins, then it just gets pitched down and the beat switch, and when Nas says roll the credits, man, I got goosebumps, bro. Oh, Nas is one of my favorite voices just generally. Rapping aside, his voice just carries well. I got a few rappers that say I really like their voice. Besides their rapping, I just like the sound of their voice. Like Snoop, Busta, J. Cole, their voices just carry well. I just like them on the track. They just sound good. And Anderson .Paak, can't believe it. just forgot about it. So The Cure seems to be the cure for the King's disease. That once again ties in the entire theme of this album. He really kept in line with what he was talking about. I love it. It's a great concept. Hit Boy just he crafted some great lavish, luxurious beats tying into the King theme, but also at the same time some others went a little bit harder, and that's possibly where he came in with the disease part and meshed it all together. This is the follow-up to Life is Good. From Life is Good in 2012, just skip Nasir, just skip the Lost Tapes 2, and now we're here in 2020 with King's Disease. This is the follow-up album, and this is what I wanted. This is what we need. This is a great album.
Alright, thanks.
Cheers.